The news moves fast and numbers are our language at Statista. I'm Gina, and let's take a dive into the very numbers behind some of November's major headlines. 15th November was the day of 8 billion people, when the world's population is estimated to have reached a total of 8 billion. Population estimates since 10,000 BC shows that it took from the dawn of humanity to around the turn of the 19th century to first reach a billion people. Since that time, it's only taken 120 years to add a further 7 billion.
Forecasts show that this growth is far from over, although it is slowing down. The latest projections by the United Nations suggest that the global population could grow to around 10.4 billion in 2100.
Growth comes from a number of factors, including longer life expectancies, despite a shortfall due to the coronavirus in 2020 and 2021. In 2019, the average human was expected to live to be 73 years old, almost 7 years older than in 1990.
India will be one of the main contributors to future population increases, being part of a select group of just 8 nations that will account for 50% of global population growth. Interestingly, 6 of these countries are located in Africa.
So what do these population numbers mean for our planet? Every year, the Global Footprint Network announces Earth Overshoot Day, the day on which humanity has exhausted Earth's annual resources. In 2022, this day fell on July 28th, meaning that we are spending the remainder of the year in global overshoot.
3, 2, 1. Boosters in ignition. And liftoff of Artemis 1. We rise together back to the moon and beyond.
On November 16th, NASA launched Orion, an unmanned spacecraft on its journey towards the moon. It took Orion just 5 days to reach the lunar sphere, completing a lunar flyby on November 21st. Orion is designed to carry astronauts to the moon and beyond as part of the Artemis missions, but on this mission is only carrying 3 test dummies. Artemis 1 is an exploratory test flight. Future Artemis missions will bring astronauts back to the moon.
The Orion is orbiting the moon exactly 50 years after the last crewed lunar mission of Apollo 17. After 1972, NASA retired the Apollo program, and nobody has walked the moon's surface since.
The only humans to have set foot on the moon are 12 white American men. With the Artemis program, NASA aims to send the first woman and person of color to the moon.
Artemis is a result of increased space activity. In 2021, there were 132 orbital space launches, an all-time high in the history of space exploration. Most of the space economy is accounted for by commercial players. In 2021, the global governmental space budget was roughly $107 billion.
NASA hopes to have boots on the moon by 2025, with the Chinese CNSA and the Russian Roscosmos also planning manned lunar missions in the next decade. Tech companies have been shedding jobs, with some of the biggest names in the sector letting tens of thousands of people go.
On November 9th, Mark Zuckerberg announced Meta had to let more than 11,000 employees go, around 13% of the workforce. Amazon is said to be not far behind, letting 10,000 people go.
But why is this happening at some of the most valuable tech companies in the world? In the case of Meta, COVID-19 saw advertisers spending more of their budget online, leading to what Zuckerberg described as outsized revenue growth.
Amazon experienced similar growth as brick-and-mortar outlets went into lockdown and other social distancing measures were in place. In a statement to staff, Zuckerberg said that the company significantly increased their investments based on predictions that the new trends negatively affected revenue would be permanent. He stated that not only has online commerce returned to prior trends, but the macroeconomic downturn, increased competition, and ad signal loss have caused our revenue to be much lower than I'd expected. The threat of recession is causing some advertisers to rethink their budgets or return to the channels they used before the pandemic.
When you hear John Ray, the man who oversaw the liquidation of Enron, say, "Never in my career have I seen such a complete failure of corporate controls," you know the company is in deep trouble.
That was the case at the FTX cryptocurrency exchange this month, formerly the third largest crypto exchange in the world. The company filed for bankruptcy on November 11th when then CEO Sam Bankman-Fried admitted the company couldn't fund customer withdrawals. Papers filed through bankruptcy proceedings show FTX lent Bankman-Fried close to $1 billion for personal use and used customer funds to buy houses for employees in the Bahamas. The collapse triggered a dive in cryptocurrency prices, shaking confidence in an already volatile market.
And if you're thinking this has all the ingredients for a gripping TV series, you're not alone. Amazon have already ordered an 8-part miniseries to start production in early 2023. These figures are only the tip of the iceberg of a few major news stories this past month. For more information on these topics and countless more, head over to our platform at Statista.com and feel free to join me again for December's month in data, where I might take you through some figures from the World Cup. Until then.